What's up, buddy?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, we're back. The Bass Intel show number 2. Who thought we'd make it to show number 2? But we're here, and hopefully everything works right. We got some storms here in Alabama, so we're hoping the internet stays up pretty good. It's raining pretty hard here.
Yeah.
So we got our first guest on tonight. We got 2 guests tonight. Actually, we're gonna have Alex Davis on. He fishes the Tackle Warehouse Tour, and now called the Invitationals, and Samuel Climer on today. So I'm looking forward to that. It's our first guest, Hunter.
Yeah, man, it's cool. Since we moved over here, you and I, we've made some friends, and one of them is Alex Davis. He's a guide over here on Gunnersville, and great guy, real knowledgeable guy. He could bring a lot to the show as far as intel, tell everyone what's going on, and Samuel, we met him with Spear Point at ICAST a couple years ago, and became a friend, helped us out with some marketing stuff, and just a really, really cool dude. Lives in Texas. He's catching 5-6 pound fish almost every time he goes out.
I was watching some of his YouTube. I mean, that guy goes out and fishes Lewis and catches. I think one day he said he had like 160 fish one day.
Oh, dude, yeah, the numbers that he tells me is mind blowing. Like, yeah, it was slow today. I caught 40 fish. I'm like, okay.
We'll take those. We get those kind of days here.
Yeah, seriously.
I've gone out and smashed, 3 or 4 bags of Senkos I've ripped through. Now, not monsters, but
right.
You get into them pretty good, and it's just one after another.
Yep.
So, we've done them. So yeah. So two guests on today. Show's going pretty good, I guess. If we're into our second show, and we already got a couple guests, and I'm excited for this stuff. Alex, I think, will definitely be able to give us some good information on the lakes out here in Alabama. Hopefully that can help out some of the other guys. We'll talk with him. We'll go over a little bit of what he's got going on next year and stuff. There were so many different things this week. I mean, even this week I saw, and I think you saw it, and we might have talked, the NPFL this week has they upped their winning prize to $100,000.
Yep.
And dropped the entry fee down to $5,200.
Yeah, they're stepping up.
I think that's big. Yeah, I was telling someone, I was like, on their part, I wish they would have put it out earlier, because I've seen so many videos of different guys that are out fishing, pros and stuff, that were trying to decide on what tour, because there were so many changes here with the MLF changing some format, Bass Opens changing their format, NPFL, basically had the same format, but everybody that I was watching was trying to decide, who do I fish with, and the NPFL this year actually got some good run, where last year I didn't see a ton of it, but this year that was an option for a lot of guys. NPFL, do I fish the Bass Opens, do I fish MLF? And I think if they would have actually got that $100,000 prize out, and the entry fee dropping down to $5,200 from $6,000, I actually think they probably would have picked up a few more guys, name guys, you know what I mean? Big name guys. But it's out there, and a lot of these guys nowadays, they'll fish both, a couple circuits.
Right. Dude, guys love to fish. If an angler has the time and the capabilities to get out there and fish all these events, there's no shortage of events. With the way the Toyota Series is set up, you got all these other leagues, and here in Alabama, the ABT Series. I mean, man, I'm telling you, there is, the way the sport has evolved is pretty cool, actually. I mean, it's kind of regional still, because in the West Coast, it's very limited. But here, Midwest, South, Southeast, there is no shortage of major tournaments, man. It's pretty cool. It's cool.
I actually got an invitation to fish another pro circuit, and I hadn't heard of it, and maybe someone else has, but the American Bass Club, they have a pro circuit that they're starting, and they're fishing, I think it was 6 events, and everywhere from up in New York down to Texas and everywhere.
I lost it. Looks like I'm the one live on the show now.
Just another.
That
Oh,
you come back? Okay. I was
yeah, yeah.
about to take over the show, man. Lost the streak.
Did you? Yeah. So you're frozen right now, but we can still hear you. And last time it just took a second, then it kind of kicked back in.
Okay.
So I think, like I said, we got some storms and stuff coming through. So guys,
Yep.
if one of us frees up for a second, give us a few minutes here, and hopefully it'll bounce right back. I'm bouncing around the screen, just kind of seeing. I don't want to refresh it. I'm afraid that we'll lose you. Not that you can't jump right back on, but I don't want to do that. So I'm hoping that it'll pop back in here in a second. You're still frozen on my screen.
Awesome.
It'll come, but we can hear you really good, and
Okay.
we'll see if it pops back in. It took a minute last time, but it came back in. I think the internet just had to. It's been doing it all night. I was messing around with this earlier, and it was doing that. So, yeah, guys, we're gonna a few more minutes, and we'll get Alex Davis on, and we'll talk with him about what's going on around the lakes out here. And talk to him about his upcoming season a little bit, and he's out guiding. I mean, so I'm wondering if he's been guiding all week with this rain, but
yeah. Well, when I talked to him, he said he'd been out a few times. They're catching him, and it's it's wet. It's been wet, but even here in Nakusa, I've talked to guys who've gone out in the rain, and they've hammered them. And I think I seen a Tucker Smith. They won an event in Logan Martin on Sunday, and it was raining. No problem. He said it was the harder it rained, the better they bit, and that's what a lot of guys are saying. If you're willing to get out there where it's pouring and there's current ripping through these lakes right now, I mean, there's some serious current ripping through them.
and it's been
they're
pouring.
eating. Yeah, they're eating, and the lake's chocolate milk. Like when I drive over the bridge, it's all brown, but you see the current just going through the bridge pilings. So
They got
right, yeah, and it's an all day thing too. So they're set up just right. If you get on the right ones, you'll smash them. And the guys. I'm seeing guys post pictures of 4-pound bass coming out of Neely here. Guys catching 15 pounds out there. So it's definitely beneficial to the fishing. I'll say that. You there? You lose me again, or I lost you? Looks like I lost you. There you go. Yeah, you're back.
You're still frozen though. It's a good picture though. Good picture of you.
Yeah, that's fun.
Do me a favor. Why don't you jump off really quick and then jump right back on? Just hit that link again. I'll just pop you right back on. Let's see if that fixes it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So we'll give Art a minute. He'll pop right back on, and he'll he'll get going here. And we'll waste a little time here till we get Alex on. Let's see. All right. Here comes Art. There you go. You're moving now. You're back.
Everything's moving.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't do that all night.
Yeah, well, it's with the storms coming through. I'll tell you, I get issues like this when I'm working on the computer and stuff. And I just with the internet, it's just name of the game. Can't do much about it.
And like I said, I can still hear you. It's just your picture freezes. That's all.
Yeah. Is it good now? Is it moving?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You're all good. As soon as you pop back on, it freezes up, and then I think let's see, that's it. All right, we got some. Oh, we got. I'm just checking out the chat. What's up, Randall? What's up, Casey? I can't see or hear both of you. That's what he says. How about now? Can you see us now? I'm typing in.
DJ, you disappeared. There you go.
Yeah, you're back and you're frozen again.
Man,
it's gonna be like this all night. This is terrible. But what are you gonna do? I can hear you just fine. I mean, I can hear that, and let's see if it.
Wait,
I'll play with.
Casey just said picture and sound is good on both sides.
I can see and hear you. What's up? I want to make sure he can hear and see us. Well, I'll see what he says.
I just seen a message come up says he can see both sides pretty good.
Okay, does he? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see. I can see and hear both of you. Oh, okay. I thought he couldn't hear us.
Well, let's push through.
All
Send it.
right, we're sending it. Yeah, Alex should be on here any minute now. Let's hope he can get on, no problem.
Yeah, for sure.
He should be popping on anytime now. Oh, let me. You may send him a text.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. Are you fishing this weekend?
No, dude, got a lot of stuff going on. I got roofers coming tomorrow. That last storm 2 weeks ago, I dumped 5 inches that one night.
Yeah.
And it got through the roof, and so they're gonna have to do a new roof on the house. And I'm pretty much tied up. I may get out and do some filming with one of the guys. I'm just waiting on a reply back to let me know if their schedule opens up this weekend, and might get out. And I'll let you know if that happens. See what you're doing, but what you got going on?
They got that new. There's a winter circuit out here that's going
Oh
on.
yeah,
They're just starting this weekend. Justin
seen it.
Moody's putting on.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm probably I'm thinking about running out and do that if I can get out and preach.
There you go. Make sure the graphs and everything's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, we're literally weeks away. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. We got to start getting out to Wadawi.
Hey, so being the Bass Intel here on your show, on this show, we want to break stuff down, right? So it's all hearsay too. Like if we hear something out there from credible sources that are telling the stuff. So one thing about Wadawi, we haven't been there, but guys that I'm talking to and I'm telling them are from California and we fish deeper and stuff like that. A lot of them are telling me that they've been to Wadawi recently or know people who've been there and they're catching fish at 30 foot. Some are catching shallow. Some are catching fish at 50 foot, on bait. So I'm excited, man. I mean, to go out there on some practice days, to be able to find fish that deep, it's because we know how to catch them. That's going to be easy. We find them. That's going to be fun. Fishing kind of.
It's going to be fun.
It is.
I'm
excited about that.
They released the and I sent it to you, all the guys fishing that thing this year.
Yeah, the list.
So
yeah,
I mean, we're gonna be the new guys out there fishing this thing. And
team transplant, buddy.
Team transplant. Let's hope we can beat some of these hammers that are coming out.
I know. But the thing about like these Alabama lakes, man, if you come across something and they're stacked up, you're bagging them. And
yeah,
it's a matter of having a solid practice, putting time in. And this time of year, let's hope it gets so cold leading up to this event that we got like freezing temps that whole week, because that'll be more predictable, easier to figure what they're doing out. It's just kind of feel more comfortable fishing that extreme cold in a deep water fishery like that, clear water fishery. I think we can our chances of being two guys who've never really first tournament ever on Wadawi, I think we could put something together if it's really cold and kind of levels the playing field, because just how we fish back home.
Yeah, we got what? We only got what, like 4 or 5 weeks until that tournament.
It's like the mid or like the 20th or something.
Yeah,
or the 27th.
21st, I think, is first.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, so we got another 2 weeks here, and then 3 weeks. We'll get out there.
Yeah, once they do some of the stuff here around the house, hopefully on one of the weekdays, because between now and the 3rd or 4th of January, things are slow. So many people are taking their vacation time. In our industry, in the fishing industry, it's just tough getting a hold of people. Emailing people just are not interested in some stuff that they would be generally in sales and things like that. So if I could find some time off, I'd like to put 1 or 2 weekdays in, between now and then, and that way there isn't much traffic out there.
Yeah,
they're going to be going. There's 100 teams that are doing the same thing we're doing, trying to get on it on Wadawi. You know what I mean? So
who knows how many of those guys have fished that lake too?
Oh yeah, well, dude, it
might be just like us. Might be brand new to them too.
Yeah. But it's guys like Canterbury's fishing it, right? So
Yeah.
having him with so much experience out there, guys like him, another guy, Hamner and his partner, they just won that Pickwick event. Local guys who've been fishing this stuff their whole lives, of course, they're going to have an advantage. But these lakes are very interesting because they set up a little different. They school up different. But if you pull up on a mega school and you stay on them all day and they eat, who knows? Anyone can pull up on that.
As long as we can find that school, we'll be good.
I'm excited.
Listen, dude, I'll sit on one school all day if I got to.
Oh yeah, especially in late January. If you're like in the back of an arm and like 40 foot in the middle of the arm, they're just stacked and spaghetti. They're eating bait. What's going on all day. If they just stay in that vicinity, just chewing, and you catch 30, 40 fish a day, you're gonna go through some good ones.
Yeah.
We've done that. That's one of my favorite things about this time of year fishing in deep clear is you find that mega school and it's an all day thing if they're that aggressive. It's fun.
I'll be interested to get out tomorrow and go see what they're doing. Well, not tomorrow, but Friday, Saturday, see what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I was messing with some rods and reels today, getting some stuff ready. I got to clean the boat out still, but hopefully in the next couple of days I'll have at least no rain so I can get out there and get it done.
Yeah. Get a little sun out there.
Yeah. All right. I sent a text to Alex and let him know the link's in his email. So we'll see if he jumps on here pretty quick. We'll see him pop up as soon as he does. Cool. I'm hoping it worked fine.
Sweet.
Well, same link I sent you, so you got on, so I'm sure it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't have to send a different link. I think it's all the same.
Yeah, no, I clicked right back on it, got right back to it.
Okay. So whatever the link is, that's the link, and that's
it looks like it's the same active link.
Okay.
That's legit.
That's legit.
I'm curious to hear about what he says because I know they're ripping current through Gunnersville and the Tennessee River. All those.
Yeah, I heard the lake's way down. Actually, over gosh, what's it called? The long tramp heading towards GTO. There's a sailboat. Yeah, okay. No, not all reds. The one towards the GTO.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was driving by today and I saw this sailboat. It looked like it was like beached. He had it. It was way up. It actually was beached. I don't know if they dropped it so low and he thought he could come in that way, but there's a sailboat sitting right by that lawn tramp, right by the state park.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right off the lawn tramp to the right, and it's out of the water. Half the boat's out of the water.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, that dude's stuck for a while because I don't think they're bringing the water up here anytime soon. Because someone told me the water they'd been out and they said they hadn't seen the water this low in a while.
Yeah. I mean,
they're dumping it. Yeah. Hey, we got Alex on here. Let's pull him on. What's up, Alex?
What's happening, guys?
Chilling, buddy.
Same old. That's right. Hey, great. I'm super pumped to have you on, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I got caught up. Me and the old lady was watching a Christmas movie, and I kind of supposed to be on here, and I said, "Oh no, I think I'm about 5 minutes late."
It's all right. We just been shooting it, hanging in there. But no, we appreciate you having you on in our second show too. So we're new to this. Art and I are kind of learning. We're figuring it out though, but we're pumped to have you on.
Well, I'm glad to be on.
Hey, quick. We started out. We've already let everyone know you were coming on, but you're fishing the invitationals next year, right?
Yep, fishing the invitationals. I started my career with FLW, getting out at the invitational. So the goal next year is to make BPT.
There you go. Are you fishing anything else?
I think I'm going to jump in a Toyota series on Gunnersville just because it's here. So kind of hard not.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, you'll be a favorite in that one. You're out there. You've been out this week on Gunnersville?
I went Saturday, and then I went Monday. Monday and 50, but never had any big ones, and then went Monday and probably had 5 fish, but we actually had some really good ones, like had a couple over 5 and had one like near. Quality was a lot better on Monday versus on Saturday.
It's kind of the way it goes. Is that kind of how it works in the winter here? It's you either going to get the numbers or you get the quality, or?
Well, you're not supposed to be able to catch numbers like this. This is kind of bizarre. I mean, it's Numbers Day of May and June, so it's kind of weird to have this many. Where usually it's just quality. I'll take it though. I like jerking on them, so catch me fun.
That's Art's thing there, jerk baiting.
Man, I tell you, I haven't really caught that many yet, but that's what I've been waiting on, Alex, is the water temps to drop a little bit. Because over here in the Coosa, we still got like 57, 58, and even 60 some areas. And I haven't seen that 52, 54 yet, or clear water, because everything's chocolate milk now, So
yeah, there's a little right now, just where it's kind of like out of a creek. It seemed like it hasn't pushed in really warm, but that's fixing to change. I believe by about Friday, we're not going to see no more. So, I've kind of kissed my fun numbers, enjoying myself. I think those days are behind me now.
That's cool, dude. Now everyone's looking for. I mean, you're right around the corner from the pre-spawn. You're going to have a couple of months of winter, and they're going to be moving. It's about to get fun.
Yeah, I like it when it gets cold, because it seems like you just catch larger than average fish. You don't catch a lot bigger ones in January, February. So kind of looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to being bummed. I don't know what's got. The older I get, the hotter I like it. I prefer that day, not this. I looked at the weather and I saw it said, I think a couple nights, like, man, that's depressing. That's just real depressing for me.
Yeah, it's hard to get out of bed when it's 26 degrees outside or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to look outside and sit out there. I think I'm going to sit inside for a little bit.
Nice.
Now, Alex, real quick, but if especially with the weather changing, what should some anglers be looking for, especially in Guntersville? Like, if you were to make a transition in your bait, your approach, your technique, what would you be switching out to with this cold front coming and the fish changing up?
As much as Alabama rig, and I'm not I used to be a fan of it. It was fun when it first happened, but it kind of wrecks your body. Like when you throw it for 8 or 9 a day, you feel it. It feels, but it just seems like this time of year they love an Alabama rig. If the water gets clear, which no rain and no end of rain, it's actually dirtied up. Most of the lake, they're still clear, like it's just clearer than what the rest of the lake is. The jerkbait bite will really get a good tactic for winter, and throwing a jig. I think that's kind of like a lost art. People don't throw, but that's probably some of the best cold water techniques. Obviously, a rattle trap or a wrap. That's always a good one on Guntersville, especially winter or early spring. So you can really keep it simple. I mean, you can jig, a rattle trap, a chatterbait, jerk bait, and just go fish. Cover a bunch of water. That I see people mess up because they want to just go fish this 100 yards a day, and if you just put your trolling motor down, you'll find some. There's way too many fish in the lake, but you have to just kind of be, keep at it. You just can't think I'm gonna run around all day.
Right. That's cool. So, and with that said, just give us an idea, in your opinion, with all the years of guiding and fishing here, how fertile is this lake? I mean, is it pretty loaded? Because sometimes guys go out there and have a hard time. They're like, man, I got 1 or 2 fish, and where's all the fish in Guntersville? And then other times, guides, we talk to people who spend time like, yeah, I caught 50 fish today. And other guys are like, how did he catch 50 fish? So is the lake really that productive, and guys just are not or they're moving around too much or doing too much stuff and not keeping it simple?
This, I've seen the lake in probably 6, 7 years. As far as past, we've had, bigger ones. It seems like that's kind of, and I don't understand that. I mean, ideas of why I think that is, but they're probably not right. But it like a lot of pound and 3/4 to 3-pounders. There's a lot of them. In tournaments all fall. It took higher weights than I've ever seen to do good. I mean, there was a benefit tournament. I think it's called Cast for a Cure. It's in September, and we 2 years, and I had 15 right at 15 pounds, like 14 3/4, and 11th out of like 190 some boats. Wow. This year, same tournament, same week, same conditions, same everything. We had 17 and a half. So the overall weight is higher than it's ever been in Gunner. And that happened all fall. Like normally 18 is really decent. You'd be in fourth. Someone had 22, but no one's, that's what's weird is you're having a 17 and a half, 18-pound limit, and you got rest are all just solid fish going with it. So we have a lot of good quality as far as like the overall. I haven't seen this many fish biting in the lake in a long time, but we're just missing those. I think that class of fish died out personally. Fish just they're like animals. You mean they are going to eventually pass away, and they do die out on their own. That's what's happened, and I think that's why we don't see that influx of those those big fish and it's been like that for the last 2 years. You just don't see those, in the spring. You don't see 9-pounder. You're seeing it like getting one with a 7. And so I think we're just lacking the big ones, but we are not lacking, and that's good for a guide and looking at the lake long term. Having that many to 3.5, 3 3/4, it's a great outlook. And if people are, I think the eelgrass has really changed the lake. That like used to, we had hydrilla or milfoil, and it would grow out and make an edge, and it'd make a solid edge, and the fish just lived on the edge of it. This eelgrass so far off the bank, like it'll get out there in like that 10, 11 foot, and it just keeps growing a patch of it. So I think it just spreads the fish out. So what you're used to do 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that doesn't work anymore. It was kind of weird. The other day I had a fish with a guy 2 days in a row on a guide trip. First day we caught a lot. Second day we went back through a couple of those same areas, didn't have a bite. I mean, he had forward-facing sonar. I was on the same GPS track from the day before. I mean, the same trail. And we just weren't kind that forward-facing sonar, kind of like panned around and out in front of the boat a little bit deeper out of the grass, and they'd swim back in it on live. And I fired an Alabama rig out just deeper. And I was like, okay. So I just moved the boat like an extra 25, 30 yards deeper, and we were whacking them again like we was the day before. And I think these fish, they have so much more ground in. They just move a lot more in general areas, and you literally can just and then be on the other side of the boat. So I think that's what the problem. If you're not catching them, you're expanding an area. You're just going on one depth line.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's some good knowledge right there. Definitely, shed some light on some of the questions we've had.
Do you guide obviously on probably all the lakes around here, not all of them, but what other lakes do you end up on a lot?
Usually only Smith. Smith's probably my favorite one in the state. I like spotted bass, and it's a really neat fishery, and there's no people over there. It seems like you can go over there really by yourself. So I like that aspect of it, and it's different. I get sick of gunners. So after a while, you do the same thing, fishing the same places every day, and it's like I need a break. But I don't go to Wheeler. I'm not. I fished Wilson a few times just personally, but I would never guide there at Pickwick. It's just to me those lakes aren't as good as Guntersville are. So if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to Guntersville. It's my only other one that I actually guide on.
You ever fish with Dowie?
I have not fished with Dowie. A friend of mine, Eric Morris, he actually owns. He's fished with Dowie, and I know we have that ABT Top 100 coming up this.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I told him I'm leaning hard on him. He said I told him he better get it out to be carrying me for that one.
I was hoping to sneak some info out of you. We're fishing that too, and we haven't been there either, so it's going to be a learning experience for us out there. Yeah. All these lakes are for us.
I've been on it twice, and that's just because I had service on my boat, pedaled out, and I looked at it and was like, oh wow, it looks all looks the same. It's a lot of timber. It has points and then standing timber. So,
kind of like so like Smith. A lot of that lake that we've been on, we haven't been on much of it. It looks all very similar.
Yes, to me, it all looks the same. Honestly, you just look and it's like, okay, well, it's clay bank, lots of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing you could do, I'm just looking at it on the maps and studying it. Looks like if you could point hop like a son of a gun there, you could cover 30, 40, 50 points. If you're going out throwing like a glide bait at a point, or like you're going throwing, jerk baits or whatever, you could come on a point, fish on it, get bit or not, go to the next point. I mean, there's arms that have 15 points in them. So that's one thing I'm seeing from maps that it be fished that way.
Yeah, no, it looks very, very expansive. You probably know, that point always has them, or I catch a big one off that point. Like I said, my partner better hope he's on his A game that day. Is all I can tell him.
That's funny.
My partner too better be on his A game.
Mine too. These damn That's funny. It's funny. We were talking earlier before you got on. We're everyone calls us transplants here. Because I'm from California, DJ's from Vegas, and it's like we're trying to relearn everything all over again. It's crazy.
It's tough too. I mean, going from what we fished and the style we fished, I mean, all those desert lakes that I fished and coming out here and bouncing around fishing there, man, it's like relearning. You have the techniques down, all that, but it's just jumping on a new lake all the time. It seems like we're on a new lake every time we go out fishing.
Yeah, and they have so many lakes, and they're so different between, if you look at just Guntersville, Henry, and Smith. I mean, you have three lakes that's all pretty close to each other, and they are so different. It has spots. Neely Henry has spots, and they're not even like the same creatures. I'm asked, but they do not act the same. They don't do the same things. I mean, a spot, he wants to live in 6 inches of water, and a spotted bass at Smith, he wants to live in 60 feet of water. It's kind of crazy, the lakes in Alabama, but I think that's what makes so many from Alabama so good. Like when they hit the national trails, the lack is, up north smallmouth. I knew nothing about it. I have a passion for it, and I like it. But the first time I went up north, I said, I hate this. I'll never come back, and this is stupid. And then now it's like, once you kind of figure it out, it actually, I enjoyed a lot. But Alabama just has so many diverse fisheries that you do catching, and they go against the grain. You think spotted bass, you don't think you go to Neely Henry and you're swimming a jig in 6 inches of water for them.
Dude, I tell you what was different for me is coming from California, from the deep spotted bass lakes. You catch a 3-4 pound spot, you hook into one, they're diving like in Smith Lake, right? They're trying to go deep, they're running deep. Here, one of the first 4+ pound spots I hooked it on a crankbait, and this thing goes flying out of the water like a smallmouth. It goes airborne like 3 foot. I'm like, and I see it's a spot. You can't miss it. You know, it's a football white line. I mean, I'm like, oh, it's a spot. And I watch it belly flop on the water and it come off. But I was like, I've never seen that before. And the guys, local guys here, my buddy Dano, he's like, oh, yeah, dude. He goes, these spots are just like smallies around here. I'm like, that's weird, man. That's crazy. You're not used to it.
No, and it's very, very odd to me. Like, a spot will smoke a frog. So it's cool. Now, when we go other places, like, I go just throw a frog down the bank, and at Lake Murray a few years ago on the tour, and I was catching them on a frog, and a guy called me that I talked to him, and he's like, how you doing? I'm like, oh, good. He's like, how you catching them? I'm like, on a frog, and he's like, oh, I'm throwing it, and he's like, on a frog, and I was like, yeah, you just go down the bank, throw it, tree, just throw it. It doesn't matter. But the only reason I did that is because down there you just throw a frog. I mean, it's I hate to sound, put a frog in your hand, throwing it and walking it around. So, but those techniques work all over the country. So we're in, and that y'all have transplanted to is it's really special. Once you really enjoy it, I'm sure the first few times you've probably cussed Neely Henry, and you'll probably cuss Runner. So you'll get to where you love it.
Yeah, it's fun now. I got a couple of things figured out. Now I can go out there and catch them. I've caught a couple of largemouth over 5 already, and I feel like I've got a little milk run already at Neely. The graph's all loaded with specific mark. I mean, it looks like a Christmas tree when you zoom out at the maps. But I could say after about 6 months, I'm comfortable with it now. So, but it takes time. It takes time with anything you do in life in general. It ain't gonna be perfect the first time. Months into it, you get the hang of it, and it starts going smooth. So that's kind of where DJ and I are at, and we figured we'd jump into that ABT 100 just to, you sink or swim type mentality, right? You're going to go out there, you're going to figure it out, or you're not, but you're going to learn. So what better way to do it than against literally the best sticks in Alabama? So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, and they are like you'll come in and you'll be like, that was the last one we fished, and it was tough. Like I practiced Thursday, practiced Friday for about 6 hours. It was cold and nasty, and I was like, my motivation to go fish that tournament was not very high. Like, I've caught 2 fish each day. Like, this is horrible. And you hear grumbling, top 10, 15's going to win this thing. It's that tough. And I was like, we had like 10 3/4 or something. And when we caught the last one, a pretty decent smallmouth, and we called quarters, and I was like, oh, we might, we'll be top 5 maybe, and we'll be top 5. This is good. And like, I come in, and the first bag I'm looking, I'm like, look over, and I was like, well, that dude got 15. Someone was like, you hear what's leading? And I was like, no. And they're like, 26. Wow. Like oh wow. Like, these guys are really, you're putting, a lake that everyone's dog cussing, and then all of a sudden it's 26, and we got to check. We had 14, little over 14 and a half, I think, and 18th. And people were saying that was going to be like top 5. So yeah, you
right.
get your feelings 100s. I will tell you that you get your feelings hurt.
Best way to do it, man. Get fall in the mud a couple of times. You'll learn quick.
We've had our feelings hurt a few times, and when we're out here fishing, so it won't be too bad for us if that happens.
Oh, no doubt. Well, honestly, in this sport, all of us, you can agree, the very first stages of this passion was, you're trying to figure it out as a kid or a youngster, and there's a learning curve. It goes 5 years to 10 years before you really got something figured out as far as the sport in general, and then you're really good and confident at it. But in bass fishing, there isn't a single person that could tell you that they did not struggle in the first real attempt of competitive fishing. because it's a different feel than fun fishing.
See, I have to that. So me personally, I moved to Guntersville and I club, and I did very well in the club, and I finally, was going to put like 20, 23, maybe 22, 23, and I signed up to fish. Had no money, so like a $200 entry fee. I was like, dear Lord, that's like I made minimum wage at the time, so I was like that's a whole week's paycheck to go fish this tournament.
Yep.
And I signed up to fish. I think I fished. It was a ABA weekend series, similar to BFLs at the time. Mm-hmm. And my first one, I come in second. I had 25.5 pounds.
Nice.
And I was like,
wow,
damn, that was easy.
Yeah.
And they had a Grand Slam series, and it was like a $550 brand new boat, brand new Triton. And I come in second and won big bass, and I honestly thought, man, this is a whole lot easier than what I thought this. And I should have, like, as a gambler, you should just walk away. Because ever since then, the more you think you know, it's like, you'll have a real good practice. Fish team from around here, you have a real good practice, and you're like, oh, man, I'm on them. Yeah. And then it's like, whew, like this fishing sport, I think the more you do it, like you almost know too much, or you think you know too much, or you're learning too much, and you forget. I'm just gonna go flip all day. I don't know. It's kind of strange. Exactly. It's the most humbling I've ever been involved in, and I guess that's what keeps you coming back is just you get beat, and it's like, oh no, this ain't gonna happen. Coming back next.
100% agreed on that, dude. It's something else. It's got grown ass men just entangled in this sport, and I mean, you wake up, you think the screenfish, it just doesn't leave your head. You have your families, we love our kids, and we spend time with them, but even in between stuff, you're going in and out of garage, you see the boat, and you're like, oh, I wonder this. And I mean, it just doesn't leave your head. It's crazy. It's nuts.
And getting beat just really, like, I 1 year, I will say this, I fished against Wheeler a couple of years ago when he was in, like, starting his career. I was like a rookie, and I think he was like second or third year, maybe as it was. He fished like we had the COVID year. We had the pro circuit. They did like the 200 boats. It was virtually FLW guys at the time or MLF guys, and then the BPT, like huge, 204 field, and like I had at Chickamauga. I lost a couple of fish, but I thought I fished like flawlessly. Wheeler wins. Wow, that guy's good. And then we go to Erie, and he comes in second. And then we go to Mississippi. I'm like, this guy is on like a whole league of his own, and fishing against him a lot better, because you realize how far you actually are behind some people. So that's it, but it drives me crazy. Like, I drive home thinking, like, why did he do that? And I saw the live to try to figure out what he was doing versus what everyone else in the field was doing. So I guess it's the coolest sport about fishing. You'll never learn everything, and if you're going to start getting behind the top guys real fast.
Yep. Oh yeah. And that's the beauty of it. You never, if you can't master it, you're always going to want to play it. Period.
Yep.
Just like the video game. When you're a kid, you beat a video game on, Nintendo and stuff back in the day, and you throw it away. You want another game. You don't play it all over again, right? It's the same thing.
No.
This is the same thing. You can never beat it. It always is throwing something at you. And whether it's out of frustration or passion or pure anger, you just can't stop. It's funny, dude.
What looking at the schedule next year for the Invitational, which one of those are you looking forward to the most?
Potomac River. That's easy.
Potomac.
There you go. I've won on the BFL level. I've won on the coastal level, on the tour level. I've come close. I think I've got like a second, a fourth a fifth, a sixth. I mean, I don't think I've even come close to winning. I've had a second, but it's one of those things like I come in second, chance to win. But the Potomac River, I felt 2 times on the fish to win, and I'm from there originally, from Virginia. Fishing Memories was at the Potomac, so that's the one. Like as soon as it come out, I circle that one as the one I'm definitely most looking forward to.
Nice.
Cool. We'll be watching that one, dude, for sure.
And it's got lots and lots of grass.
Yeah, we'll be watching them all. Yeah. You know how it goes nowadays. It's always on the TV.
Yep.
What go ahead, Art.
No, go ahead. I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Potomac too. I have friends who live in Virginia, and they if you can figure out how to fish the grass there, you'll do good. They say it's one of those fisheries where
it's just a grass lake. I mean, it's they set up the same way they used to have like milfoil. So it's I mean, when I'm there, I feel like I'm at home. It's like, oh yeah, and I mean, I know around. The ones I don't look forward to, but I do is like a new lake when we go. You just don't know, and you don't get like. I don't go pre-practice. I'm not a just go just for our 3 days, and sometimes you literally just don't get on anything about like the section of the lake they was in, and that's it's fun when you don't do good because you just feel like you didn't even figure you weren't even on the same test and you was playing checkers kind of a thing, and that's frustrating. So I at least I do like a few times you kind of think, oh, that one time I caught him here, or I know what that arm looks like. But and usually the places we go to, they're really big, so it's not like you can dissect the whole lake. It's a massive fish to go to.
Yeah, it's a tough deal, man. But it's crazy around this time of year.
Yeah, I don't think people.
Go ahead. Sorry, DJ. The connection on.
No, I was going to say.
I know on everything.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think people. 3 days sounds like a lot, but when you get a big lake or something for a lake in 3 days, you can bounce around. But boy, I was the same way when it was MPF. A lot of times I didn't go in that early part before the off limit period. I would go for the 3 days, and it's tough.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, they changed our rules, and like I don't know if I've ever quite got used to it in the 2 years, but like I felt rushed, and I hated it. It hit me really bad at Okeechobee, and that was the first time I only had 2 days to. That was the first one at Okeechobee. And Okeechobee, for anyone that's not been there, is like the most masteries ever. Like you could literally put the trolling motor down and fish all day, and it's like I didn't cover nothing. You didn't even get started until like 7:15, and practice ended. It's like you don't have a lot of daylight early in the year, and it was like 1:00 the first day, and I think I had 2 bites, and I was like panicking because I only had 2 days to practice. So 3 days, I'll look forward to having until you actually only have 2 days to practice a lake. You don't realize that it's not really get to do a lot. You have to kind of hope to land on them pretty quick, or you just like I went practicing in the tournament, and a lot of times I always used to be like, that guy's full of it. He's saying that he's practicing during the tournament, but really, if you don't find anything in practice, you're fishing again and hope. You just kind of cross your fingers when you're out there at that point.
Yeah, you just got to kind of pick a part of the lake and say, man, I hope they're there, and then learn that portion of the lake for your 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely, which is nerve-wracking. I mean, it'd be one thing if you have 20. I know NPFL and I know the pro circuit, they don't have cheap entry fees. Like you're putting.
Yep.
You're hoping to find something.
Hoping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're
cool,
originally
man.
from. I was going to ask you when you came on, being from here. I was going to ask you War Eagle or Roll Tide.
Mhm.
I don't care. I mean, I'm a pro guy, so I like pro sports. I mean, I'd say I'm more of an Alabama fan just because of Nick Saban and, to me, coach in college history. But I don't lose sleep. I'm gonna wake up Sunday morning mad at the world. That's not me.
Oh,
See, I'm the
man.
opposite. I'm a college guy. I love watching that stuff on Saturdays. Sundays, I'll go fishing.
See, I'm just the opposite. I want to stay home on Sunday, Saturday, whatever. I'm good. Deal to me.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I think you're gonna pick anything. It's gonna be fishing. It's
Oh
you
yeah.
spend your
We're always fishing. We're always fishing on Saturday. At least I am, and I'll miss my college games, but we figure out a way to listen to them somehow on the radio or something while you're fishing.
yeah.
So I got your we put your website up here for your guides and stuff. Hopefully, guys will check you out and get out there with you, and I'm sure they'd learn a ton. I'd love to go out with you and fish, trying to figure this lake out. Art and I have been out, and I might jump on the boat with you and get your guide service and get out there just to go get on the lake and figure a little something different out. This is such a big lake too. I haven't been able to fish it much, so it's been tough for me to kind of get into a rhythm on this lake and figure something out. So we might be getting out there, but I got it up there. If anybody's interested, for sure, jump on that spinnerbaitkid.com and book a trip.
Yeah, most people learn about the lake. So if anyone out there you just want to learn about the lake, anything like that, just and more than willing to kind of, I've learned a lot. I've seen the lake do a lot of different years, so I do have a lot of knowledge on the lake, and anywhere from beginners just wanting to catch some. Now it's electronics. I do a more electronics trip, and there's a lot to how the grass grows. A lot of people just want me to help them with their electronics, and I think more than anything is just being able to read their electronics and get in different areas, see what kind of make a game plan around how the grass is growing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that if you did electronic. It seems like a lot of guides out here nowadays. Back in the day, it was just a guide trip to go fishing and catch a bunch of fish, but now you're seeing that electronic trips and stuff like that to get guys dialed in.
Yeah, and its settings is like huge on, especially Mega 365 and side imaging. Now, what used to be complicated with side imaging now, like that's like 360 and Mega Live, and it seems like the game's always kind of evolving with a lot of electronic strips, and I like them. They're stress free on me most of the time. Maybe just to track baits and kind of get that, but I like to do that more and takes it away versus just to go and fishing. I mean, sure, you can learn while you're just going. Anglers take away more when they can actually learn something that goes years past just going catching some.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, to learn how to catch them is a trip that I'd like. You know what I mean? Versus maybe in the past when I was younger, just going and catching some fish. Now I'm more into why are we catching them? What are we doing differently than somebody else? Where are they at in this stage of the year and stuff like that. That's what gets me going. I love getting out there and just looking for them.
Yeah. This sounds weird. I don't like catching fish. I like figuring out how on them for a little bit, and then I usually let's go somewhere else. I want to go do it somewhere else. I like to hunt, and in hunting, that's kind of what you're trying to figure something out. About fishing is I like the figuring them out. Once I figured them out, I kind of want to go do something different, bait a different place of the lake. It takes the fun out of it. I like the search deal.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That is the fun part. I talk to guys all the time, and Art and I have talked about just getting on the graph and just idling around the lake and looking and in those pre-fish type, for these tournaments, and just looking for those fish all day. Some people might think that's boring, and I've talked to some buddies and told them, no, dude, I'm on the graph for 8 hours just looking. And they're like, that doesn't sound like fun. And you're like, well, to me it is, figuring that out.
Well, going to that, I tell you what, side imaging now, you get those things dialed in and you start idling around ledges and stuff. Dude, it's like eyes underwater. You're seeing every rock, every ledge, every sunken boat. I mean, it's all there in front of you. So it'd be no different if you're going diving, I'm sure. I mean, it'd be, of course, a little different compared to looking down there compared to a screen, but you're really seeing a lot of the lake. I mean, every inch of the bottom, wherever you're driving. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's like you're idling and you're looking at all these ledges, rocks, fish. It's to me and DJ, we're not afraid of it, and it's cool. I mean, you get to see stuff that you wouldn't have if you're just blowing over. We lose you, DJ?
I think we lost him.
The storm got him. Mm-hmm.
Pouring at my house. I can hear it right now outside. I was in my fishing room. I can hear it just literally pouring down.
Dumping out there. There he is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the weather, it's killing the internet here.
Yeah, it's killing me at my house too. Right, pouring outside.
Nope. There you go.
Oh,
you're coming and go. You there? DJ, you're frozen.
Let's see. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're all frozen.
I think it's funny on my end. I see you
there we
okay,
go.
Alex. There you go. You're back. Okay.
I can hear you now, Art. It'll take it a second, but it'll unfreeze us.
Cool. Yeah, Alex, it was real nice you come out and talk with us, man. Appreciate the knowledge.
Sorry, I was a little late. I'm not usually a big Christmas movie guy, and me and the wife was getting into it. I turned my phone off on silent, and I felt it vibrate on the thing. And I was like, "Wonder who's texting me?" And I looked, and it said, "Is in your email." And I was like, "Oh wow, I forgot." So I'm go back to the movie, but I appreciate y'all having me on, and everyone have a good heart. Maybe you can have me back on in the future. I enjoyed it and had fun, and
absolutely.
Talk to y'all soon.
Absolutely, we will for sure. Thank you, Alex. We really appreciate you coming on.
Have a good one, brother.
All right. See you guys.
All right, see you later.
Later. Bye. Great
All
guy.
Right, there we go.
Great interview. Awesome guy.
Yeah, good. That was fun. I think he was on his cell phone, and I think that's where we were having some of the issues with the sound.
Well, let's jump old Samuel in and see what he's up to.
Yeah. Let's let me shoot him a text.
Because of the reception issues.
I'm going to shoot him a text and let him know he's going to jump on the computer. You guys.
So one thing I want to point. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, DJ.
No. I was just saying. I think that I could hear him, but it would pop in and out. And I remember. Oh, there's Samuel right there. I remember when we were first getting on, and I said, "Hey, are you on your phone?" And as soon as you got on your computer, it picked up much better.
That. Yep. So, but what I took away from talking to him about Gunnersville is just kind of keep it simple. You know what I mean? And go out there. And you notice what he said? He said, no one's really throwing a jig like that anymore. Well, dude, this time of year, everyone knows 54 degrees or colder, drag that jig, throw that jig out there, and fish it on rock or whatever. And I think a lot of people are overlooking this stuff. They want to go try this and that out. Just throw a jig, throw your trap in the grass, and maybe an A-rig, and just cover water. Because from what he said, there's tons of fish. If you just kind of put your trolling motor on and cover a long stretch of bank or a ledge, you're going to come across them. I mean, they're catching.
That's what he was saying.
50 fish a day is a great day on the water.
Oh, heck yeah, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah. So
Hey, I got
simple. Looks like it's working for him.
dude. All right, I got Samuel on. Let's get him on. We'll go right into the next guest. Let me
Yep.
pop him on here. There he is. Sam, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Can you hear me fine?
There you
Yeah,
go.
buddy.
See, he's
up,
on his
buddy?
computer. It
Awesome.
works much better.
Yeah. Well,
Let me turn this down a little bit.
first off, DJ
All right,
Art,
so
thanks for having me on. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Start with that.
No, dude. We appreciate it. We appreciate you jumping on. We got backed up a little bit with you. Where I was telling you about 8:40. We're already at 9:00 here. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem at all. I texted Art. I was like, dude, I'm gonna run to Sonic or McDonald's and get a McFlurry or something.
Yeah.
Go get some Sonic. I hear you. Well, listen, again, super pumped to have you on. I was checking out your YouTube page a little bit after I talked to you on the phone and stuff. I jumped on there, checked out your YouTube page, guys. I'm going to switch it up here. There you go. I got all your information down at the bottom there, guys.
Sweet.
But it's some good information on that website. Or on your YouTube page. I'm sorry. And I didn't realize you traveled around like that to different events and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. Art and I are planning to do that next year with the Classic.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I actually little backstory about me. I'm 23, graduated college back in May, I guess. So very recently. But I only started fishing about 7 years ago in high school. Used to live in California, so I guess myself, I'm also a transplant here in Texas, where I currently reside in DFW. But I didn't bass fish in California, and then found out about it when we moved back here in Texas. It's been a roller coaster of learning and just experiencing bass fishing, especially at the college level. Going from high school, my 2 years of high school where I was fishing, and then jumping straight into college, dude, it's just such a ginormous learning curve, learning spotted bass, smallmouth, and of course, like different types of largemouth. We went up to Mississippi River, qualified for national championships, went all across the country, and it's been such a ride.
Yeah, a lot to learn when you get, a lot of these guys jump in it real early. And these guys here in Alabama where we're at now. I mean, these kids are fishing way. I started young, but with the amount of lakes and how close they are to be able to get to them, they have such an advantage because they're just on the lake and they're picking these things up earlier than I did. I mean, I was close to some lakes up in Northern California, but I was not like here. Not like here. They're everywhere. You can fish anywhere.
Yeah, I think the variety of fish. Go ahead, Art.
Sorry to interrupt. I was pulling the boat out last week, and I met a couple of local guys pulling their boat out. Also, we're talking, and I gave him some hooks, and we just made buddies on the ramp. And he's lived here nearly his whole life, right? And they're 5 minutes from the lake, no matter where you live. And I told him, we were talking about where I'm from, and I said, yeah, the closest lake to me is about 45 minutes to an hour. He goes, what? He goes, you got to drive 45 minutes to get to a lake? He was just mind blown, you know what I mean?
That's insane.
It's crazy. How far is the closest lake to you, Samuel?
Dude, I live on the shores of Lake Grapevine, basically.
Cool.
So I'm a minute away. Like I can walk to the lake in about 5 minutes.
That's wicked.
There you go. Yeah, that was a big change. We were talking about it. If I wanted to go when I was in Vegas to Lake Mead, I mean, I had to plan. It's not 2 hours away, but after you get up, get your gas, drive down there, launch the boat. I mean, you're an hour and a half into it at least. Yeah. Then you're another hour and a half back. So you're wasting 3 hours of just kind of getting there and getting back. I literally can be on the launch ramp here in Guntersville in about a minute.
Wow.
Which just makes it so much nicer to be able to just go fishing because you can go for 2 or 3 hours because you're so close. There's no way I would have done that back in Vegas and fishing the desert lakes because it's going to take me 3 hours of just travel time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I being here in DFW, I mean, I can go in a 1 mile radius around me and hit 60 different lakes, whether they're little lakes with giants in it or real big lakes like Lake Texoma or Lake Ray Roberts where the Classic was held 30 minutes away. I mean, dude, it's the amount of big fish in this tiny area around where I live where I'm not wasting a bunch of daylight to go drive and eat and get gas. It's just incredible.
That's cool.
So nice.
So
Yeah.
so what's going on in Texas? But I know we generally cover, you know, the northeastern Alabama and the state of Alabama, but I think Texas falls into the southern south, you know, tip of the South kind of.
Yep.
What are the fish doing, Samuel? What are you seeing with your lakes and the behavior of these fish right now?
Yeah, so DFW, it's kind of an interesting area. You've got a lot of reservoirs, right? You know, here in Texas, there's only like 2 non-reservoir lakes. You know, Toledo Bend being one of them, and then there's another one that's a man-made or non-man-made lake. So a lot of them are mainly just rock, clay, and trees, and that's about it. And when you say Texas, I'm going to focus on DFW. That's why I wanted to kind of separate that. You know, you go down to you go over to East Texas, you've got grass, you've got cypress trees, you've got whole wide, you know, whole different ball game. You go South Texas, completely different. But here in DFW right now, the fish, I really feel like from the general consensus that I have from most of the people that I know fishing, you know, these big events and tournaments is that the fish are just messed up, man. It's like they're not in winter patterns yet, but the water's already like mid to low 50s. And you're like, they should be eating an A-rig, a jerk bait, all this winter stuff, but they're not. Like, they're not set up right. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a boat. My parents helped me out with it. It's a 16-foot John boat, flat bottom aluminum, 1965, mind you.
Your boat's the deal, dude. I love your boat. I can't wait to come out there.
Yeah,
you set that thing up from scratch, didn't you? Did you build that?
I did, yes, sir. Yeah, the whole deck. It's got an Ultrex on it, lithium batteries, 12-inch scope unit. I mean, it's the whole package with the 30-horse Johnson in the back.
Wow. Which you need. I saw some of your videos. You getting back in some skinny water with that thing.
I do. That is for sure. I definitely hit the trolling motor more than I probably should, and definitely have to get out and push sometimes.
Yeah, I saw the stumps. I said, "Oh man, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I would love fishing it, but man, when you're running your boat through that, you're like, oh god, one of these things. If I hit one,
see,
it's gonna be a long day."
The 30-horse Johnson, like it doesn't lock down, or you can like unlock it. So if I do hit something, I'm not going near fast enough to break anything. I mean, it just boom, motor
pops
goes up. Totally fine.
And they're stealthier, you know, like the whole Butch Brown concept, man. There's a couple of things I've heard him say on videos and other articles where he feels like it's a huge part of his approach to those big fish in, you know, Castaic Lagoon is the stealth aspect,
right?
The lack of noise, lack of size and presence in the water, and it's huge. That's why I feel like some of the kayak guys do so well in catching big fish, is because they're just creeping up on these things half the time.
Right. Yeah, there's not a lot of presence. And I specifically actually made my boat where I filled the bottom of it with foam.
Okay.
And I really padded that carpet, because you think about it, like in an aluminum boat, it's very hollow, it's not very dense. So what happens is that noise transmits really easily through the water. Yep. So I did a really careful job of padding it, and I can jump on that boat, and it's pretty dang silent.
That's
stable too, huh?
Definitely, dude. I fished 3 like grown high schoolers and myself in that boat, and a little tippy here and there, but I mean, it's very hard to, you know, tip it over. Actually, I don't think you can tip it over. You almost throw yourself out of the boat with the trolling motor.
That's legit, dude. Yeah, I've always wanted to put together a little boat like that, man. And one of these days I'm going to. And you can hurt them. You can smash them into stuff. You're not going to hurt them. Like DJ was saying, you nick something with a glass boat, and then you're having a bad day after that.
You know? That's for sure.
I've munched sandbars and stumps and everything.
I tell you what, yeah, a sandbar would be nice. I was up on one at Erie. It wasn't fun.
Oh, no.
No.
And that's another problem with a glass boat. They're so heavy. You eat a sandbar and it plants itself in it. With an aluminum boat, you hop out and you just shove it out of the way and you're gone.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but back to your main question, the fish here in Texas, man, in DFW, they're strange. I was out fishing I was out fishing Saturday with the high school kids I captain here in Texas, actually where I graduated from in high school. The fish were locked down on the bottom, kind of like almost in a summer/full winter mode, which is weird, but they wouldn't eat the winter baits. It's very strange. Give it a week here. We're gonna have a very cold front come through, and I think that's gonna finally.
You're freezing up. You're back, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Are you, DJ? You're frozen.
We got internet issues. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, it's been kind of going back and forth all night.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. We got some storms coming through. There we go. Everybody's back.
There you go.
We got storms coming through, so it's been a pain.
You guys
no problem at all.
You guys storming over there too? Samuel, you guys storming?
Nope. We got bluebird skies and about 50-degree weather.
Nice.
Oh, nice. It's been raining here for like a week. Nonstop.
See, last week was our rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here now. So you do a lot of stuff with marketing and consulting and stuff on media type stuff, right?
I do. I work for a company, a tackle shop actually here in Texas, North Texas, called Lake Pro Tackle. I'm the head of marketing there. Do all their social media, content creation, revamping their YouTube, and all that anything related to marketing. I'm in charge of it.
Did you get into that just by yourself, kind of doing YouTube and stuff like that, and then it just kind of grew?
Yeah, so actually it's really interesting kind of how I got into it. I've always loved creating, whether it be like photos or little short videos and stuff. And I really took that and melded it in with what I was doing in college. It's not very often. Being so new to it, I was like, dude, I want to document my trips up to, Wisconsin, or going over to like Lake Cumberland in Tennessee or whatever. Like, this isn't something that normal high schoolers are doing, let alone like anyone. Not a lot of people are doing it. So I was like, dude, I just want to document this. And Tacticam Cameras picked me up as they're part of their team through Collegiate Bass. And they're like, hey man, like, we want content, video, photo stuff. And I was all for it. And then like I got in touch with, people like Art, Christian at YOLO Tech through like iCasts. And it just kind of took off from there. So it's been awesome.
Were you up at iCast this year?
I was there the past 2 years.
Okay. I was down there with Art for was I a day and a half?
Yeah, I think he came after the second day or the end of the second day. Or halfway.
Yeah, I think I should have.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
over. I was running around this year.
Yeah, it was a busy year for us. Before you know it, we're going back. They're already sending reminders and floor plans and all that of iCast already. So you're planning. The minute you get home, you get 2 months away from it. It's right back into the emails, man. It's crazy.
When was that? Was that is that September?
July.
Was it July when we were out there?
Yeah, dude. Totally.
Wow. Man, it's going fast. You're right. We're only 6-7 months away.
Only.
Yeah.
Dude, we're halfway through December right now. I don't even know how we got there.
Dude, literally it seems like we were just at iCast
2 months ago. Yeah.
Clueless, dude.
Like, everyone tells me like I'm 23, right? They're like, dude, time's gonna fly for you. And I didn't understand that like a year ago. Man. Now that I graduated, like working full time, it's insane. Just gone.
Yeah, wait till you get even older and it goes even quicker.
Warp speed. Like, seriously, you'll wake up 40 and you'll be like, how am I 40? It's crazy.
Christmas is here again already. Gosh. Well, that's awesome, man. I like I said, I want everybody to make sure they come and check out your stuff, but on your YouTube stuff, because I was flipping through it. It was funny because and Art and I are just getting into this. You probably would kill us on all this technical stuff, but your last video, I think it was, that you were like, GoPros, my GoPro sucks or something like that. Dude, I was going to ask you because I've had quite a few. I've had the DJIs.
Yep.
I've had the GoPros.
Mm-hmm.
And my GoPro is the biggest pain in the butt. My DJI worked great, and I love those,
Right.
except for the audio, getting
Yes.
the plugins for them.
Yep.
But my GoPro, we were out filming Art and I mean, things kicking on, it's kicking off. It just seems like a never ending. I didn't know if you had any tips on that, on which one you use. I mean, obviously you use the GoPro.
He's throwing
Right.
away. That's his tip.
It's
Dude.
never ending with those things.
Yeah. So when I'll be straight up with this, like Tacticam through the collegiate program, they were paying me to run the Tacticam, which is amazing as like a college angler. But I'm gonna be honest, those fisheye cameras that they had, they were the most robust, idiot-proof cameras you could ever have that still ran 1080p video quality, right? And one of the issues I have with GoPro now is just what you're saying. Like they shut off on me. They'll format cards differently. They like the file management in a GoPro just ticks me off so much because it names your files like O1, blah, 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 O2, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And it just mixes them all up and you can't even sort them. And I'm like, gosh, this is terrible. And I really don't have any tips for you other than just keep up with the updates. Whenever you get one, just download it, format your cards before every trip. But I'm gonna be honest right now, like I'm gonna go back to my old Tacticam cameras here in a second if GoPro keeps doing this to me. I was out. I told Art about this lake. It's called Squaw Creek Reservoir. It's a power plant lake here in Texas. It's about 2 hours south of me. And I had the most day of days, like 184 fish in like less than 8 hours.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Nice day.
That's
and
insane.
I didn't get a single one on video.
Oh, that's the video I was watching where you're saying, guys, I caught a ton of them, but my
Right.
my camera didn't come on or something.
Right. And I guarantee you, I've run that Tacticam. Like, this isn't a shout out to Tacticam, but I have run that at Cumberland in the freezing rain. I've run that at Fort Grand Lake in the freezing rain, like extremely hot conditions on Lake Murray all across the country, bulletproof. And that working with Christian at YOLO Tech, I ran around with him for about a year and a half to different pro tours and stuff. And man, we were just like handing these cameras out to like the elites and the MLF Bass Pro Tour guys, and we're like, press this button in the morning, press it at the end of the day, you're set.
Does it let me ask you this on it, and does it have an app so that you can look and see what's filming? That's
Yep.
I mean, when I saw you guys passing them out and using them and stuff, and I was like, man, how do you know you're getting a good shot unless you had an app that you could look at and go, okay, move the camera a little right, a little left. Okay, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah, it's got an app. Now, I'll be honest, the audio's not as good. It's almost no stabilization to it. But if you're just going for video, pure video, I mean, it's solid. But yeah, it does have an app. What we do tell people with any camera is don't aim it at your face. Think about this, right? You aim a camera at your face, it's getting your face in the middle,
Yep.
most of the sky, and like your torso. Aim it at your torso so that way it gets top part of you and the bottom part of you, right? So that's like the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, on my DJIs and my GoPros, thank gosh they have that front screen now because
Right.
you can just sit there and play with it and you go, okay, I'm in the picture now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to have to run behind it and look from behind,
Yeah.
you know, the old 8s and 7s. You're like, okay, that's good there. And you run back up to the front.
Yeah.
We film all the time, but man, getting that content up is tough.
Yeah.
For me.
The GoPro that I'm running now is the 9. And I've heard really bad things about the 11 actually. And the 10 is almost okay.
It's better. Yeah.
It's better than
it's
the
better
11,
than the 11.
But the 9 for me has been like my happy place when it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of the older ones, I have some of the 7s. I think I have I've gotten the 10 and the 11 recent camera as far as just working and turning on and off like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Than the 11s. think I lost you there for guys for a second. You're back.
There
though.
we go. I think we're back.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the newer ones are tough. It seems like they just have more gremlins in them.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Which you would hope they or think that they would work those out as they got better and better, but it seems like it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, and the price keeps going up and up.
Up and up and up. Yes. Ugh. I know I have way too many cameras right now. I must have 5, 6, 7 different GoPros. I got 3 different DJIs, which I like those. They work well.
Yeah, especially the new one. The new one's really cool because it like clicks together and like.
I have that one. They have a newer one that just came out.
Yep.
It's basically the same as their original, just better. I have the one that clicks. That one froze up on me at Hartwell a few times.
Yeah.
But the new one's supposed to be really good, but they don't have an AV output for your speakers. You have to have that little coupler and you put it in, then you plug it in. It's just a pain. You would think they would just put something so you could plug your little Rode speaker into it. And just like the media got on like the GoPros.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing that bugs me about. Those are good cameras though. I love those things, but the speakers is just such a pain. You'd think they'd come up with something.
You would think, right?
Right. Seriously. So Sam,
what's up, Trent?
It's so hard sometimes on that. We fall behind because of the reception. It looks like they're not saying nothing, and then I'll catch it and I'll go in. It comes right in. But hey, I was curious. So regions are clearly different, but bait selection. What is better of the baits that you're throwing right now that's getting more success on the water?
So I actually, funny enough, I just filmed a video for the store channel about the baits that we're using right now, and heavier drop shots. You know, a lot of the time, personally, I like to start with a 1/4 ounce weight, and that's like a pretty general, you know, weight for most people just throwing a drop shot. You know, it's definitely a regional thing, but right now the heavier drop shots for me, you know, those fish aren't in their full winter pattern, but they're still eating like a fall pattern. So keeping it in like one place with a heavier weight, like 3/8 to almost 1/2 ounce, like has been an absolute killer if you're just trying to get good keeper bites. A jerk bait, not quite there, but you get something like a flat-sided crankbait with a rattle. I think one of the biggest success baits I've had in a while is on like a Bling, was it the Jackal Bling 55? Okay, it's got some crazy rattles in it, and it's a flat-sided crankbait.
Oh, dude.
Yep. But yeah, those 2 baits there are really, really good this time of year, as well as a spinner bait. You get like a big 3/4 ounce spinner bait that you can slow roll with some bigger blades. You know, you're mimicking that bigger shad. Those have been absolutely killer for me.
That's cool.
That must be a Texas thing. I got a buddy of mine that's there in Texas, and he's always talking about that big spinner bait. A big spinner bait he's talking.
Yeah, it's so slept on, and I actually just recently stumbled upon it back from like Lake Pickwick that my buddy and I, Caden Tanner, were fishing for a collegiate bass tournament. Dude, he caught 23 pounds of smallmouth by himself on like a 3/4 ounce spinner bait up in the tail race. So I bought a couple, didn't really use them until I got back here in Texas, and now I'm like, dude, this is like no one's doing it anymore. And even the spinnerbait as a whole, people are throwing chatterbaits. People, you know, fish haven't seen spinnerbaits in a while. And it used to be you go back 10 years and that's all they're throwing.
And it's crazy. I've heard guys say that actually. I throw chatterbait over a spinnerbait now. You know, but it doesn't have the bling. It may have the vibration. It doesn't have the blades. It doesn't have the attraction of maybe a small bait ball or a couple of shad running by you. It's more of a vibration type deal with the chatter. With the spinnerbait, the attraction of the blades and the whole nine, I think, is a whole nother bait.
Right, and it doesn't have the chatter. It doesn't have a lot of the noise. So I almost present my spinnerbaits as like a finessier chatterbait. Right, it's not moving as fast. It's not making a lot of noise, and it's just like thumping in that one spot.
Yeah, my buddy Trent just said number 7 blades on those things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heavy too, huh?
Yeah, 3/4 to just under 3/4, whatever that is, 5/8, 3/4.
Yeah. That's a little heavier than average there, huh?
Well, I mean, I've got several 1-ounces now that, I mean, I'm getting down in around 15, 17 foot around the timber where there is timber.
Yeah, that's something we didn't throw. I used to, 3/8 ounce was fine where we're at. Now those fish are crystal clear water out west. You go with something,
Right.
But since I've moved out here, I've got plenty of 1 ounce and 3/4 ounce spinner baits for the ledges and stuff.
For sure.
I got 1 ounce chatter baits that I'll throw out there.
Yeah. And the Texas fish are just different, man. They're the DFW fish, like they move around so much. Like I live on Grapevine, but I would say my home lake is Lake Louisville. Bassmasters had an open here a little bit ago, and those fish do not sit still. Like they will be on. If you could track these fish, I guarantee you, they will be on one point on one day, and the next day they will be halfway across the lake. That's just how much they move, and it's all wind dependent, barometric pressure, sunshine. Like time on the water, man, is like your biggest factor. Like you can match conditions and they'll pattern on those conditions, but it's so day to day.
Yeah. So the more you're on every day, the more you can kind of stay with those fish and move with them.
Yeah, and see, I was in the late summertime through like a little bit of the fall, dude. I was on those fish before I got this like full-time job now. Like I was out almost every single day, and every single trip I would catch multiple 6+ pounders. And it was just insane. The number of 6, 7, 8s, and 9s that I caught from basically right after ICAST, or I guess like right before ICAST to like September, just stupid.
That's cool.
Well, they're known for their big fish out there, right?
Yeah. You can go
kind
to
of
a
their
body
thing.
of water. You can go to like a tiny little farm pond and catch 13, 14 pounders. Like
that's crazy.
I
have a friend, one of my best friends from back home, JD. He's originally from Texas, so he grew up there. DFW. He's from Dallas, the same area you grew up, dude. I mean, I've heard of Texoma, Louisville. I've heard of all these stories, right? And but he would say the same thing. He said he grew up with a couple of friends who their grandparents own cow farms,
Yep.
And they had tanks. They call them cow tanks. It's 2-acre pond, 3-acre pond for water to for the water for the cows, and it's stock them with largemouth. And he goes, they'd be 12, 14 pounders in there, and he goes, we'd go in there when his grandpa would let us, and we'd catch 2, 3 double-digit fish in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You hear these things from back in the day. It's crazy, but they grow them big in Texas. That's for sure.
They do, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife like Share Lunker program has a lot to do with that. Just they call them. I forgot what they call them. I watched the video today. Like I forget what they call those fish, but it's like a Texas breed of fish that are just super aggressive and can grow massive, to massive proportions.
And it's cool. I've read Bassmaster articles about exactly what Texas is doing. And so they're taking the biggest and baddest genetics, dude, and they're procreating. And whatever's coming out is just got prime genetics in it. There's no skipping a beat with these fish.
That's and like selective breeding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you're getting
literally
the top of the line, cream of the crop, fingerlings from them. And dude, you're seeing it. You're seeing it, evidence in the fish you're catching. They're different.
I mean, the amount of teen class fish or 10+ pound fish out of Texas this like last 2 years, especially with with the live scope now, it's just nonstop 10 pounders rolling in. And one of the lakes that I used to go to a lot more, but in the past I used to go there a lot more, and I was like, man, it usually like those weekend tournaments, it'll take like a 7-8 pounder. All of a sudden people are bringing in like 10 pounders every weigh in. Like one guy caught a 16 pounder out of this lake, and that was just like not heard of.
That's crazy in a tournament.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
dude, 16 pounder.
That wins a lot of tournaments, 16 pounds.
You know what's funny? Being from California, personally, there was a tournament in McClure, early 2000s, The guy who won had a 15-pounder.
Oh,
15. And a friend of mine, John Gonzalez, rest his soul, he passed away years ago, in Kauai, your neck of the woods,
yeah.
Visalia, they caught a fish years ago that was like a 15.5, and it was that and one other fish they caught in the tournament. And they went in with like 17 pounds, smoked everyone with 2 fish. So
See,
you hear about these things. It's crazy.
That's insane too, because I really wish maybe not financially, but I really wish I knew about bass fishing when I lived in California when I was there, because that's like the whole big swim bait game. And now I'm getting into it now I'm like getting these like tater hog lures, like bull glides, like all this big swim bait stuff. And like California's like the birthplace of that, man. And I really wish I was in that when it was getting big, because I mean, I'm in love with it now. So, and what's crazy too is like Spear Point hooks, y'all were based out of Visalia, and that's where I used to live, which I think is absolutely insane.
Small world, man.
What are the chances, right?
It's a trip, dude. It's a trip. You know, one thing, I had a talk with Samuel earlier on the phone. We were actually FaceTiming each other, trying to figure some stuff out on the graphs. And then we started talking about fishing. And you know, he's been talking about drop shotting, right, in Texas. And he keeps telling me he's loving the number 3 GP finesse. And I'm like, dude, you're catching these fish on a number 3 GP finesse. I'm like, seriously? Like, I wouldn't even tie a 3 on in Texas, right? But Samuel's out there. I mean, it's a testament to your angling skills. But yeah, tell us a little bit about the Texas class fish you're catching on the smallest drop shot fish you have to offer.
Yeah, so I'll start off with I guess I really don't have a category of fishing that I like the most. Like whatever gets bit, I'm gonna do. But I found percentage wise, I call it power finesse fishing, where it's like I will target these big fish with finesse tactics, but not in a slow finessey way. I'm not going to sit on a point and just drag something finesse. So starting off, I mean the size 3 GP finesse. This is the size.
You got one on point right there. Look at that.
This is no. This is the size 2 from a sample pack.
Oh, 2. Okay, wow. Yeah.
And
yeah.
That is how small it is, right? I'm throwing the size 3. I'm throwing it on a Nico rig or a Neko rig, a very specific way. And if you want, I'll get into that. I'll expose the secret on this podcast. A little clickbait for you.
Buddy.
But dude, yeah, it's insane. I've just got 10-pound braid to around a 12 to 8-pound leader, depending on exactly what I'm fishing. You know, what's really gets me in a lot of situations is that I trust my line. Like I will put everything on my line, and I know like I've got confidence it won't break on me. I've sent Eric and Art yourself videos of me pulling fish over a dock, like over chains, and not losing these fish. And it's a testament to Spear Point hooks with the V-grip technology, keeping these fish pinned. And that's another thing, like the confidence I have going into it, throwing these lures, light line with very finesse tactics, is that these fish basically double hook themselves. I can have a skin hook. This hook's not coming out. And, you know, that technology here is something that everyone just needs to try. Like if I've got extra hooks, I'm giving them to high schoolers. I'm giving them away. Like anywhere I go, I've probably got 5 more sample packs that I just keep in my car in case someone wants to try them. But yeah, the Nico rig for me with a size 3 hook has been an absolute killer, dude. I'm catching what I talked about earlier. Like I've had probably 40 to 50 fish over that 6-7 pound range up into the 9-pounders off that number 3 8-pound line, which a lot of people, dude, aren't doing. Like most people, most high schoolers I talk to that I coach at the school, even they're throwing like a drop shot on like 30-pound braid with like 20 to 17-pound like leader. I'm like,
whoa. It's like Bubba. You're just Bubba shotting at that point.
Yeah. So I'm like, guys, you don't need that. You know, trust your line, trust your hook, and you're gonna get those fish in. And I mean, I've just got an extreme amount of confidence in the number, like the size 3. I mean, I've probably bent out 2 of them and they're not even from fish. Like I've hooked it on a dock and just pulled it off. And you know what I do? I just take pliers and bend it back and keep fishing that same hook. One of those size 3s I've caught, I counted, like, I know I caught 15 fish over 7 pounds on one size 3.
That's crazy, Samuel. Thank you for that knowledge and that sharing that with us. But I always, since that hook came out, DJ, that's the only finesse hook you throw, and many others in the country. Now, the word's gotten out now. There's thousands of anglers that will not tie on another
for
finesse.
sure.
You know that. So, but hearing the fact that you're in Texas and you're working such power through these little hooks with Texas class fish, and you're not having any issues. When I know other guys who are crappie fishing with number 3s, and that just blows me away, dude. Like, thank you for sharing that, because it just tells you the quality of the product, and aside from that is that yes, you can downsize and you're going to get bit more, and if you trust your equipment, like your line, your rod, you fight them correctly, you're going to catch those fish on light line, and it's fun. It's truly fun catching fish on light line.
Super fun.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, like, I don't play around with my drag. Like, usually my spinning reel drag is set to where I can pull into a dock and still not bend that hook out right. So it's pretty locked down. It's almost locked down, but I am setting the hook like full force with the number 3.
That's crazy.
Just in the depths of stuff. I sent you, I said I send Art and Eric like pictures of stuff. Like I also send them videos that I don't tell them to publish because it's in a little secret location. But I sent one to Art today, and it's in a dock area in the nastiest of stuff. And I'm just ripping these fish out. So it's super cool.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing that, Samuel. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to throw on with Texas? If we were to show up in Texas tomorrow morning, what 2 rods do me and DJ bring?
Definitely bring a drop shot / Neko rig rod, whether it be a 7.3 medium light or a 7 foot medium. You get away with either of those. Those are my 2 favorite sizes. Definitely have that finesse gear tied on, because you'll find these fish locked down in a brush pile or suspended on some random freaking cover or cruising the bank. As well as something to just cover water. Mini Max chatterbait, dude.
Okay.
Like, covering water with that Mini Max doesn't thump as hard, and I think a lot of fish a lot of the time in the fall are scared of a really hard thump.
Okay.
So my bite used to be on like a lipless crankbait, like a TN70, that was really loud when that water temp was up. Mm-hmm. But now that water temp's down, I've got to almost downsize the amount of vibration that I'm presenting to these fish. So like that Mini Max, definitely one of my go-tos.
Okay, good to know. So still, again, like we're talking out, so just keep it simple. You don't need to go throw everything in the kitchen sink at them right now. Just locate them. You locate them, and you throw a couple of productive techniques at them, and you should catch fish.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. It's pretty hard to find them right now.
Yeah.
A lot of the fish, like I said, they're locked down on the bottom. Hard to see them on live scope. And I've got my live scope pretty tuned in. Through college, I was kind of fishing with it as a co-angler from the back, looking at it, peering over Caden's shoulder. But now that I've had it, on my boat for almost a year, like I still cannot almost find these fish in most of these lakes here in Texas to actually scope them.
Like I said, most guys can catch them. It's finding them. And truly finding the right ones. You find a patch of 2 or 3 here, and then they follow your bait up on the screen, but then you pull up to like 7 of them, and 3 of them are following. And okay, now you're on. But unless you really come across that, it's not as easy as everyone thinks it is sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, dude, DJ, anything else you got to throw at our boy Samuel?
I got nothing right now. You're breaking up a little bit too. I'm not sure what's going on. It's probably just a big storm part coming over.
There's some electricity building up above his house.
Yeah. No, I ain't got nothing, man. I appreciate anything you want to put out there other than your YouTube page, Charged Up Bassin. Anything else you want to put out there that guys can check out that you're working with, or companies you're working with that maybe you want some people to take a look at?
Yeah, man. You know, sponsors are like a big thing, but I really just look at them as friends, man. You know, Christian at YOLO Tech, they do the powered GoPro mounts. That's how I'm able to record if it weren't for the issues with the GoPro. But I've always got it in the back of the boat recording, whether I post it or not. It's just fun to have, you know, make memories on the water of me falling in maybe or doing something stupid. It's always good to always be recording. But yeah, Spear Point, of course, Art, Eric, y'all are killing it. But I guess one thing I said I'd show people, and I haven't shown this to anyone. So this is for anyone tuning in here. So my Neko rig setup is going to be with a Zoom finesse worm. I just got this little guy so y'all can see it. Mm-hmm. Now you take like a typical Neko rig, and most people, they will put the weight in right at the bottom and rig it at the very bottom like this, right? So as that worm is going along the bottom, realistically, that worm is actually doing this on the bottom. And what does that look like? Doesn't look like nothing to me. You know? So here's what I'm doing. So I take my number 3, size 3 hook, and I go about an inch down the worm, maybe a little less than that. And I stick it in weedless. You see that hook point's totally embedded in the worm. You don't have much plastic to go through, but it's still weedless. Right. Put your weight in, and as you drag this worm, keep tension on it. It's actually just standing up just like that, like a shaky head. Still a finesse presentation, but you know, with the worm, it doesn't have a hook. Yeah. Keeping that worm like that, this worm can bend and flex however it needs to, and when that fish eats it, I mean, it's getting that whole worm.
Yeah.
So that's
money, dude.
Yeah, that's a little variation on that.
Yeah, I like that because now your tension's coming up from the top of that worm.
Right.
Even if whatever angle you're dragging from, you always have that worm extended. That's smart.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool, dude.
So this is the exact rig that I've caught 50 plus 6-pounders on in the past 4 months.
You just gave us some serious juice on that one, man.
Serious juice.
Yeah. Are you throwing that shallow?
Yes, I've thrown this for bedding fish. I've thrown it for suspended fish in 40 foot of water. I've thrown, like, putting a lighter weight on this and sinking it down. This is another thing. I hope this doesn't get out too far, but I really hope your podcast does well.
I hope so, right?
Yeah, but you put the lightest of weights in here. I mean, I'm talking like a 32nd ounce weight, right? Wow. Really light. And you put it in a certain way. Instead of going straight up, I like to put it from the back about like a half inch up. And what happens is, I call it the death spiral. As you've got a little bit of tension on your line, you're still slacklining it, but braided line lays on top of the water. As this falls, it death spirals like this. And that little like dead bait fish spiraling down action that it does, absolutely killer for suspended fish.
Money.
Like a tube falling.
Basically, yes. It's almost like a tube falling, and it's just spiraling down. I call it death spiral. And it's just something that I've never talked about before. You don't hear a lot of people even talking about like that spiraling motion. Like, it's just a natural dead fish motion, you know, as they go down to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people talk with that, you know, we don't think about it falling to the bottom. Everybody thinks about the motion once the bait's on the bottom.
Right.
But you're right, getting that spiral motion is going to get them to go to the bottom sometimes.
Yep, and it's the same thing too. Like when you're dragging it up off the bottom, like I keep constant tension, so this worm is just doing this on the bottom, just cruising like that. And when you pop it, I mean, it's the same thing. Like it flutters up like this, and then it just death spirals down. So super, super killer, especially watching it on live scope. You can feel the vibration. Actually, it puts out a really good vibration. Like you can feel it in your rod tip as you pull it up. It's just, and then goes back down.
Wow, that's the orange juice right there, buddy.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Heck yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Texas guys.
Yep.
Watching that.
Yeah, we'd love to get you on, every few shows here and there. Every time, get some up to date what the fishing Texas are doing and new base, whatever. We had a great day out here.
Art's kind of breaking up.
Yeah, it's all right. I can make it out a little bit. It's like
yeah, there we lost DJ. The storms are going hard right now, man. I could hear it on.
There he is.
We're back.
The storms are really kicking in now.
Yeah, it is. I can hear it.
Y'all be safe out there. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is awesome.
No, we appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully in the future, Lake Pro Tackle, we do a separate program, and if I'm back on here again, I'll definitely talk more about that.
Let's schedule something for that. Let's set something up and get you back on, and we'll talk about that a little bit more because we'd love to have back on, man.
Yeah, y'all come out to Texas in the springtime. We'll go catch some freaking mondos.
There you go.
Dude, look, I've been trying to plan something with Samuel for months, and my schedule was so crazy with Clear Point and the whole nine. I was trying to come in December, it didn't work out. But next year, we're gonna find some time. We definitely.
Oh, for sure.
I can't wait.
And yeah, hopefully we get on one of those days like we had at Pine Flats. Go catch some trout suspended in the grass.
That was crazy. First time Samuel comes to California fishing me. You take a Pine Flat where we catch a big old spotted bass and all this. I catch one fish, I think, on a jig that morning, and then the rest of the day we proceed to catch like 30 rainbows on spoons and little spinners in a cove.
Oh, there you go.
Off a grass edge. It was the most bizarre thing ever. It was fun as hell. That was a blast. It was
the real number was actually like 57 trout in like an hour.
That's right.
Wow.
I've got the video up on my YouTube channel.
You should watch it, DJ. Watch it.
I'm going to. I was on it earlier, checking out his videos and stuff. So I'll go look for that one.
The trout slaughter fest. It was crazy, dude. We were tripling up on the boat. It was nuts.
Tripled up on trout multiple times.
Wow,
and we're just shaking them off.
Yeah, shaking them.
Get them to the boat, shake them off, throw back in there. Like we're flipping like 10 feet away for these fish.
Wow. Bass fishing for trout.
Basically.
Who else?
Wow.
That was a good memory to share with you, man. I love it. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, Samuel, we're gonna bone out, but we're definitely gonna have you on again, man. If you'll come on, we appreciate you coming on today, and we'll wrap this thing up. Sounds like our internet's really starting to act up and break us up a little bit, but man, we appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming on with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, bud.
All right, brother. We'll
all right, Art. Yeah,
it was fun. It was a good one. Yeah, the internet's all messed up here too, so.
Yeah, it's starting to act up. So we're gonna call it a day or a night or whatever. And next week we'll try to get back on and do the same thing, and see if we can kind of get a couple good guests on and talk to them next week.
And
so guys,
I was thinking,
what's that?
To run by, a lot of guys were watching. A lot of times you may not be able to catch it live and comment on the side, but if you ever had a question about the guys who were on our show, like for example Alex Davis or Samuel or any other technical questions for us regarding a lake or technique, you can always DM us. Always remember that.
For sure.
You can hit us up, and maybe there was something that we missed. Maybe you can hit me up, say, hey, Art, you're on the Coosa. Can you break down a little more specific stuff for me? Are they on points? Are they on creek channel bends? Whatever. Don't hesitate. You can always hit me and DJ up, and we will do our best to get you whatever.
Yeah.
Sport,
Yeah, for sure. Hit us up, guys. I'm not sure how much of that is going through. It's breaking up pretty bad right now, Art. But like Art was saying, if you guys heard it, great. If not, hey, hit us up, hit Art up, the Spear Point guy, hit me up, Instagram, whatever, DM us, however you want to get a hold of us, and we'll have this up on YouTube. But get a hold of us if you guys got any questions. We'll let you know what we know, and give you any information we can. So we're going to call it a night, and we'll see. Hopefully see you guys next Wednesday. All right. Now we're out.
Goodbye.